But I think the one thing, Draymond, that we saw was, and I was talking about efficiency. I think at times we've seen you guys, over the years, these 3 years run, be really great, and sometimes you're loose with the basketball. We didn't see the looseness with the basketball that we have seen, and when those leagues got to 15 to 16 or 12, they stayed there.
Yes. You know, that was huge for us. One thing that we talked about coming into this series is one of the keys, one of the top two keys is to take care of the basketball. And like you said, when we got those leads, we didn't get loose with the basketball. If I want to nitpick, we had one segment where I think we had 2 turnovers in 2 possessions. And other than that, you know, we continue to keep our foot on the gas. And if we continue to do that, defend the way we did, and obviously you can't expect to have 4 or 5 turnovers or whatever we had every game, but if you can keep that down 9, 10, 11, you know, we'll always give ourselves a chance to have a great game.
Yeah, just 4 tonight. You're now a veteran of 14 of these games, NBA Finals games. What's your takeaway from this? What feel did you take from it?
Obviously, I think, you know, we were a little rusty to start off. Guys missing layups, probably the nerves of the finals as well. But, you know, we continued to stay at it. Everybody did their job. And, you know, when you come out and everybody do their job, you know, you have a chance to have a great game.
Draymond, talk about yourself and Clay in terms of your defensive effort, your defensive intensity. Nice. Particularly with Clay, a couple of times guarding Kyrie Irving out front, shutting him down, you know, staying with him off the dribble. How inspiring is that to you and to the rest of your teammates when you two defend like that?
It's very important, you know, for us to defend that way. Obviously, Clay is guarding, you know, one of their best players, you know, with Kyrie, and that's a tough task. But, you know, he took it personal on the defensive end. He played great on-ball defense. And, you know, I just try to do what I can on the defensive end. But one thing about it, we both got to play great defense shooting the way the 2 of us did. So yeah. You know, we got to bring something to the table.
And Draymond, talking about defense, after that first quarter, you held them to 60 points in 3 quarters defensively as a team. Was there something with this team, a game plan where we're not going to let the others get off, or we're going to make life miserable for LeBron and Kyrie? What was the mindset and the thought process going into game 1 defensively?
Well, we know when their others are getting off, you know, they're going to be pretty impossible to beat because LeBron's going to get his, you know, Kyrie's going to get his. And Kevin Love had a good game as well, you know. So if you can shut down the JRs and the Kyle Korvers, you know, and those guys, you know, it makes a big difference. You know, you got KD right there guarding LeBron. You know, that was huge. He took that matchup personal tonight, and, you know, we need that for the rest of the series.
You guys were plus 26 in the paint. As you were walking up, we were just talking about what appeared to be the Cavaliers' decision to give up layups, or in Kevin Durant's case, dunk after dunk after dunk. I think he dunked the ball 27 times tonight. It felt that way. What did you see out there in terms of what they were trying to do, what their focus was?
Their focus was to definitely take away the three-point line. And, you know, obviously, if you're going to give us a dunk in transition, we'll take the dunk. We're not going to force the 3. And, you know, when you take away the three-point line like that, you open the rim up. And, you know, I think guys did an incredible job of driving. And when the 3s were there, we took the 3s. But, you know, we're not just going to force 3s and they're trying to take it away. You got to take what the defense gives you.
I have a basketball energy question, because you're the energy guy. So certain energy guys they're fire starters, meaning they're going to come from door talking. Some guys are going to be reactionary. They're going to get it when someone else says something and they're going to join in. And then other guys are a little bit in between. What are you? Are you the fire starter? Are you the counter puncher? What are you in terms of trash talk and getting your team fired up?
I think in order to be a great trash talker, you have to be a fire starter, and you have to be able to counter punch. You know, you start talking to somebody and you ain't got no counter.
All of the above.
Exactly. All of the above.
Exactly.
And that's because your job, would you say that? But sometimes when you're the scorer or something else on the team, you don't have time to do that. But you need somebody to get you, and you want to say it in the back of your mind. I was one of those guys who wanted to say it but couldn't say it.
Right.
I needed a Vernon Maxwell. I needed a Draymond Green to say it for me, and I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It gave me that courage juice. Give me the courage juice.
I've said this before. I spoke to Ronnie Lott, particularly about yourself, and he made the reference of Charles Haley, how Charles Haley, when he was with the 49ers, he gave everybody the courage to go to the edge, because sometimes he would go over the edge. And, you know, in these moments like this, you need to play with that type of intensity and be on the edge but not go over the edge. Now, the question I got for you now is with your coach, with Mike Brown, because this is his first time in this series. You guys have gone back and forth with Cleveland for the last 2 years. This is his first time up to the plate. How did y'all get him ready to coach this game?
One thing about Mike B is he's a professional. You know, he's one of those guys, he's at work early, he's at work late, he's always preparing, you know, for the moment. And, you know, the great thing about it is this isn't his first finals. You know, he's been there before, ironically, with the Cavs, you know, but it's not his first go-around. And, you know, I think the main thing is he just stayed the course. You know, he didn't come out and try to do anything spectacular from what he's been doing, you know, since he's taken over the helm. And I think that's great. You know, it's on us to go out and play the game, you know, and, you know, execute the game plan that he gives us. And it's on him to just continue to stay poised. And I think he's done a great job of that, you know, and as long as he continues to do that, we'll continue to follow his lead and try to be great.
So speaking of lead and leadership, right, you are the leader of this team in terms of emotionally, spiritually, and also, you know, verbal-wise. Your communication with Durant early in the season, now late in the season, how did you communicate with him in terms of getting him ready to play and compete and become a warrior and not, you know, the OKC player?
Well, I think, you know, the most important thing is just having trust in each other. You know, there have been many times where, you know, it breaks the internet of Draymond's yelling at Kevin, but he trusts me. He knows that I'm going to come, if I'm going to say something, that I'm going to say something that's going to try to better the team. And, you know, he'll come up to me and yell at me, but of course that'll never make the internet. They're just going to put me on there, which is fine. But, you know, to have a guy like Kevin Durant, who I think is one of the best players in the world, can take that. You know, some guys can't take that, and some guys aren't willing to take that.
Yeah.
But he's going to, you know, if you're going to yell at him, he's going to listen. He may say something back. But at the end of the day, we know we both want to win, and that's the most important thing.
He's also figured out by now you yell at everybody at some point,
yeah,
right?
no question.
That's true.
I have another thing. The last thing I want to ask is, you know, we're here, you want to, but why are y'all different? Why are we going to see something different than last year when you guys really handled them for 4 games? Then after the suspension, it was kind of a dismantlement. Why are y'all different?
I think it's just a more focused group. You know, last year you coming off a finals win, you're up 3-1, you think, oh man, we got this. They can't touch us. And you know, they came back and did what they did. This year, obviously adding KD, you know, makes a big difference. But also, you know, adding some of the veteran pieces like a Matt Barnes, you know, like Zaza, you know, like David West, who's been huge for us. You know, just adding those things to the fold, you know, I think we're a team of better poise, you know, and I think that's the most important thing. I lost my poise last year, and it cost us a championship, you know, so keeping our poise, you know, maintaining
and you
that
believe
level
that
of play.
If that didn't happen, you think the championship would be back-to-back?
I think it would, you know, but, you know.
I agree with you, I'm just saying.
We can all say, you know, if I had to play that game, you know, we would have won. But it's not, you know, we're not sure.
I agree with you. Had I not sprained my ankle, we'd have won.
Exactly. So, you know, we can all say if.
I agree with you.
I'll say if, but at the end of the day, they won a championship. You got to give them that credit. But we're back to try to take it back this year.
You surprised at all? There wasn't a lot of chippiness, a lot of chirping tonight, or was that later on in the series?
I think, you know, there's never really a lot of chirping. You know,
except for,
at times it happens. You know, and at times it happened tonight. But you know, as the series goes on, it usually gets more physical, and you know, we'll be prepared for that.
Will Richard Jefferson get a farewell tour like Kobe?
No, is this his last year?
I
don't know.
Last year was supposed
You're not going to get a farewell tour. You ain't Kobe.
I don't know if it's his last year. I'm not sure.
I don't think he knows. On your podcast. Invite me to the show.
No doubt.
I got something to say.
Respect.
Before we let you go, did you get Zeke's Charles Haley reference? Because we're all old guys. We know Charles Haley. Do you know Charles Haley?
I definitely, you know, I keep up with my Bay Area history.
Okay, all right, good.
So I try to stay up on those things. I definitely, you know, have heard a lot about him. You know, so it's not that I've seen him play, but I've heard a lot about him because someone else has said to me before, like, you're like Charles Haley. And I'm like, who is that? So I had to go Google him. And then once I Googled him, I'm like, all right, I got it.
Is it 4 or 5 Super Bowl rings?
I think it might have been 5.
Yeah.